Just gonna go for a little drive. Hotel security, this man's drunk as f***. He's on drugs.
What is going on here?
He's a male prostitute. I'm gonna escort him out of here.
Male prostitute?
We hope that when all the drinking and driving and the drugs and the explosions and gunfire and tires getting blown up and all that stuff is gone, there's the love of this friendship. So this surrogate family in the midst of this incredible family dysfunction. So that's kind of the core of it.
So you really care about these guys?
Erica, I care about everybody in this park. There's a lot of really good, hard-working, and decent, intelligent people that live here.
I thought there's just no way in hell anyone is ever going to do this. You know, it's so hardcore.
I'm glad I have my helmet on. Hey, Julian. Hey, man.
I need a couple bucks for gas, buddy.
You all right, Ricky?
Yes. Ricky, I'm starting to tell you, you can't play with his handguns, okay? Ricky.
You shouldn't leave it later.
Well, Trailer Park Boys is a documentary, a mockumentary conceit following these three main characters, Ricky, Julian, and Bubbles, around a trailer park, and there's a sense of family amidst family dysfunction. These guys have each other, and so that's kind of the core of the show, and then they get into all kinds of crazy and, you know, we're kind of mirroring a lot of reality television, some of those like caught on camera shows, and cops to motivate the use of a cheap DV camera.
How many times do I have to say it? No stealing inside of the park.
There's a lot of money in barbecues. They're easy to steal, and the best part is house insurance covers it, so nobody really gives a Cops can't be bothered. At the flea market, you know, you get $50 a pop for them, which is awesome. And if you steal and sell 4 at a time, it's theft under 1,000. Community service, worst case.
I'm Ricky, and yeah, I'm from Sunnyvale, and these f***ing camera guys are always following us around, and now we're on TV, and people starting to know who we are, and I mean, it's ridiculous. How would you like it if people are always following you around? It's a pain in the ass, if you ask me.
A lot of the other shows that I've directed, there's been a lot of pressure because they're higher budget, and the actor has to get every line right. Sometimes they have like 2 or 3 takes, and it's a lot of pressure. You know, I like the idea, you know, permission to fail, you know, blow a take, no big deal. I mean, it's like, so then the actors are much more loose, because if they know they screw up a take, they can just kind of stop and gather themselves. And then they actually listen to each other and engage.
That was a good one, Jake. One more, just play around with it. We got that one's perfect, okay?
The brilliance of Mike is that he will oftentimes, when he's shooting a scene, stop the actors and essentially rewrite it on the day, at the moment. So there's a lot of improvisation going on.
This here's where we repaint them, strip them down, swap all the parts out. Can't tell where they came from then. Check this baby out. That there's called a super double bunk-BQ. Built that myself. Like to see that red, blue, green. Put one of those together, duct taping it.
So it's pretty easy. Well, I shouldn't say it's easy to come up with a cheap video look. It's difficult in blocking the actors and making it appear as if it's a random documentary scene, because if the actors start to move into perfect blocking and all that, you can tell it's contrived. But, you know, we have to kind of break the conceit sometimes to really get a good look at somebody's eyes and really follow the scene. We try to shoot most scenes in one take. Make it appear as if it's one take with a few cutaways, as if it really happened. The camera really has to act as well. A lot of the times, the operator will not look into the viewfinder for that randomness.
Daddy, wake up! Wake up, Daddy, wake up! Wake up!
Oh, hey. What's going on, sweetie?
It's time to put my patch on. Hurry up, Daddy.
Trinity has got to quit smoking. Like, I can't have her smoking anymore. It's ridiculous.
Well, when we first came out of the gate, people were like, what the f is this show? There were a lot of people who just like, that's crap, that's, I don't want to see that. Mostly industry people just couldn't understand the idea of just firing up a DV cam and our anti-production value.
Slowly became this, quasi-addictive thing. And so now I think the people know what it is and they're coming to it and they're really embracing it. But at first, I think people were kind of scratching their head because it's different than anything else that's been on TV, I have to say.
Hang on a second, man. Hang on. Let's go. No around here. Hotel security. This man's drunk as he's on
What is
drugs.
going on here?
He's a male prostitute. I'm gonna escort him out of here.
Male prostitute.
We didn't want people to think that this was a show about making fun of trailer parks or people generally. I think now people feel that we have created a real family, a real community, a real sense of belonging. We've created a world, I think, that people want to belong to, and that's part of the attraction for this show.
I'm Julian. I'm friends with these guys here. I live in the park as well. I'm a bit of a businessman. Sometimes I hit a few bumps in the road, and Rick, you know about that, eh?
What do you mean by
A few
that?
bumps in the road. You know what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, I end up in jail every now and then, but it's cool. It's all right.
Hi there. My name's Bubbles. I hang out with these guys here in Sunnyvale Trailer Park. And I don't know what else to say. We just sort of around and do our own thing, and those guys come around with the cameras and film us, and then they put it on TV.
I've been very, very surprised that people think it's real. I can understand that they see video and they know that look and they might think it's real, but I mean, after a while, when you start to see what they're doing, and I mean, it's clear they're actors. I mean, it's so ridiculous.
Bubbles is the one character that I think people have a hard time discerning whether he's real or whether he's make-believe.
I don't let things go like Ricky does. He just lets them spiral into a storm.
And people were critical of us for that. And we thought, we were taking advantage of this poor guy.
Julian's making me the gas distribution manager, which is the most important job there is. I can't let the boys down. I gotta work my ass off.
You're still not sure.
We had an optometrist, right, who wanted to offer to fix, to give Bubbles contacts or laser eye surgery for free.
I guess they see me on the TV, and then I show up here, and they're yelling my name. It's crazy. We go out now, and people see us, and they come up and talk to us, and give us free liquor and cars to drive around for the day. It's great.
Yeah, a lot of people have been giving me free dope and stuff, which is cool. I mean, it's not as good as the dope I grow in that, and I think that's part of the reason we're popular. There's a lot of people want to either talk about growing dope because I know a lot of stuff, or they want me to give them dope because my dope's really good. And so I guess maybe that's why I'm kind of popular. I don't know.
I don't know if we're allowed to mention dope on this show. We talk about it on our show, but this is a different one.
Yeah, you shouldn't mention dope, Ricky. I get free drinks every now and then. It's pretty cool.
Why can't we talk about dope?
It's illegal. It's illegal as hell.
Hollywood TV guy there made a reference to Trailer Park Boys the other day and commented on the fact that this show is already creating a buzz in the United States when it doesn't even appear on the United States yet. So
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so there's this buzz, about this show, and it's never been seen legally in the United States. Nobody's broadcasting it down there, but the word's getting out. So our audience is growing. And it would be interesting to get to have this, introduced into the American audience, because I think it would do very well.
Thanks for watching. It's been cool and stuff. And if you ever get people that want to follow you around with cameras, I don't know, if I was you, I'd just say no and just don't do it because it's up.
Tell them off.
Cheers.
The finest leather boots are at Big Bill's Boot Shop.
much of the genius of America in terms of its cultural creations has been in the popular performing arts. The library sort of stands alone in its policy of collecting broadly in all of these areas. The library's mission is to document and preserve the cultural history of America. And the Library of Congress is America's oldest publicly funded cultural institution. It was founded in April of the year 1800. This artifact came in on December 1st of 1903, so it's been here almost 100 years. And this is the original copyright deposit for Edwin S. Porter's The Great Train Robbery. This has been restored to motion pictures in our laboratory, and it now can be projected like a standard motion picture. Prior to 1912, there was no category in the copyright law for copyrighting motion pictures, but there was a category for photographs. So they hit on the idea at several companies, starting at Edison, with making a contact print from the original camera negative to this paper strip. This is a copyright deposit that came into the library in 1898. It's a mutoscope wheel. This is an early peep show viewing device for motion pictures, and that's Pope Leo XIII. And what one would do is put it in a machine, a mutoscope machine, and then just flip the cards, and then you can get the sequence of images going by like that. Right.
The main criteria for the recording registry is that they are recordings which are historically, aesthetically, or culturally important in the life of the United States.
Everything is over and I'm feeling sad. I just lost the best pal that I ever had.
Some of the earliest recordings we have are represented here. One is this bell tainter cylinder, which comes from the late 1880s. This is a cardboard core with a wax coating on it. Roughly simultaneously, a man named Emil Berliner, who was working here in Washington, D.C., was experimenting with discs for capturing and playing back sound recording. As you can see, it's a little bit smaller than the 78s that came in to being later. People are more familiar with LPs, although when we talk to younger people these days, they're not so familiar. But, and also 45 RPM recordings from the 50s and the 1960s, early 70s.
One of the things that the project is looking at is the way technology is changing. Like, for example, those big floppy disks that everybody used to have, no longer can you find a computer that can read those.
The American broadcast and movie industries and recorded sound industries have produced or used in their manufacturing and distribution processes for more than a century, literally hundreds of different formats of recording media. And many of those are represented in our collections. And so we do have to find old pieces of equipment that can play these back.
The digital preservation initiative needs to keep up with the way technology changes so that the materials that we're preserving today in one format, we need to make sure that centuries from now those are still available.
The Persuasion Equation, MediaTV.
This is the first children's hospital of the 21st century in the United States to be fully constructed. And when we built it, we really wanted it to be more than a bumper sticker. Look at all the great technology, look at all the neat toys. We hope that this will be a model for other institutions, other hospitals, and really begin over the next 5 and 10 years to change the way people access and think about the healthcare system in the United States and the world. The first thing that happens is everybody who comes to the hospital gets a smart card. And next to each bed is a smart card reader. And by plugging the card into the reader, they get a choice of options comes up on the screen. They also get a wireless keyboard. What happens is they can choose video on demand, and it isn't just movies and television, it's also educational programming, how to use inhalers and how to care for your children, all sorts of things that nature. The system knows the patient's name. It also knows about the patient. It knows their age and it places them in a developmental age group, and from this point forward it will construct all the content dynamically around their age group. What's neat is this patient's 10 years old, but if she comes back in 3 years and plugs her card in, it'll know she's 13, and it'll show her 13-year-old content, whether it's games or health content or things about the community. But it grows with her, and it learns from her, and it creates increasingly sophisticated environments for her to operate in.
She gets excited when they're going to leave her just because I get to play with the TV and I want a computer card and da-da-da. Yeah, so when they tell her she's going to stay, it's not a shock. She's actually happy.
The complexities of a hospital environment really mean that you can't bring kids together in a traditional way because they may have an infectious disease or a compromised immune system or just not be mobile.
There were some administrators who were a little worried about, how long would it be, before there was writing on the walls or the keyboards were disappearing, and nothing like that has happened. People here really, I think they appreciate the fact that, it's not just in certain areas of the city, it's in the Bronx as well.
We're making that impact. They're remembering it. That's why we're getting the calls from the teachers. That's why the children stand up when they come for a tour and say, I was in your hospital, it was great. It doesn't mean it's not a hospital, but it's a different and unexpected experience for them.
Could you please read back the last few lines?
It's just past 3 when he sees the black convertible make an illegal turn. Close up on Officer Duffy.
People really don't want to understand or see a corporate sponsor on television, yet alone at a movie theater. And in our case, because the film festival is such a close tie-in to who we are as a company and what we stand for, the entertainment quotient goes through the roof.
And breathe normally for comfort.
AGF's been involved in the film festival for a few years, and they've sort of moved their positioning a little bit. They were doing before eventually retires, and now they're in this area of what do you love to do and why aren't you doing it? And the film festival, I think, for them is just a perfect environment to sort of get that sentiment across.
In the case of the court stenographer, obviously we show them in their environment, which is the mundane traffic court, and it's a very day-to-day.
And I observe the accused make a left-hand turn at 3:14 p.m., contrary to Section 144 sub 9 of the HTA.
Could you please read back the last few lines?
The rain is falling hard on the hood of the cruiser. Officer Duffy looks at his watch. It's just past 3 when he sees the black convertible make an illegal turn. Close up on Officer Duffy. Where do you think you're going, punk? The punk pulls a gun from his jacket. To hell. And I'm taking you with me.
I guess the thought is, if one were to invest in AGF funds, one would, given the time, have the financial freedom to pursue whatever it is that you love to do. In this case, writing screenplays or directing or acting.
In the unlikely event of a loss of cabin pressure, an oxygen mask will drop down before you. Seize it. Pull the mask towards you and place it over your nose and mouth and breathe normally for comfort. Look to your fellow passengers for the strength and courage to push on and bear this heavy burden of uncertainty. For who among us knows what planned fate has in store?
The director that we worked with, David Wellington, has had a lot of affiliations with the festival in the past. He had a number of films, Love a Man in Uniform, and a couple of others that actually have won at the festival.
Going to watch a film is such a great escape from the everyday, and for that reason alone, it's more than the right place for us to be.
108, take 7. Mark. And action.
So I followed them to a motel and I shot this.
Oh, God, it's horrible.
Yeah, I know. Not some of my best work. Framing's off, composition's all over the place.
No, Sarah.
And the lighting was so restrictive, I couldn't get in tight. Well, I did manage to get a little closer there.
Oh, no.
I was aiming for kind of an experimental quality, you know. I wanted to pay homage to, like, Godard's early work.
Oh, my God.
Action.
People really don't want to understand or see a corporate sponsor on television, yet alone at a movie theater. The desire on our part to say to people, look, we're not just a corporate sponsor here. We are a company that actually believes very much in film and what it represents, and we're going to develop trailers that when you watch them, you'll see that there is that connection.